Okay. So if you start off standing with your feet just a little bit wider than hip width apart, and the outside edge of your feet parallel with the ends of your mat, or the edges of your mat. Okay, so we're going to do the same strap thing that we did on Friday, I think it was. So the distance, the width of your hands will purely depend on the mobility of your shoulders at the moment. So you start off and then tweak as you need to, either give yourself more or less space. And what I want you to do is raise your arms up above your head, but I don't want you to flare your ribs. So I want you to stay with your ribs tucked in. So you need to engage your belly muscles, in fact, the whole of your core, round your back and your tailbone down. And then as you exhale, bring those arms back down. So this is slow and controlled. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Engage those shoulders, engage your arms, really grip the strap, pulling the strap apart. And if you need to alter the distance between your hands, you know, like for instance, if your shoulders are pinching a bit, then you probably need to give yourself a little bit more width between your hands, but just play around with that. And then on your next exhale, come down and just relax your arms. Okay, we're going to go all the way back and up. Somebody's coming in. It's Claire. There we go. So we're going to go all the way up and over and back again this time. So you may well find, depending on again on your mobility, that you need a little bit more distance between your hands. So again, not letting your ribs flare, bringing your arms up and over. And up as you breathe in and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up. And a few more of these. Tailbone down, engage the whole of your core. So that's all around your back as well as your front body.
Go on, come on, come on.
Claire, hi there, your audio's on.
Oh, sorry.
I can hear you talking to the dog.
Like, get out, get out.
And then next time your arms are back down at the bottom in the front, just release and let your arms be floppy. Okay, this time, if you just like to put your left hand on the front of your left hip, this is to try and stop any movement, side to side movement in your hip. And I want you to do a backwards crawl with your right arm. Now, you can go quite quickly with this if you want to, but I want you to feel it out first. Take it slowly and controlled so that you don't do yourself any damage. And then release that arm, give it a wiggle around. Place your right hand on your right hip and we'll do the same with the other arm. And then reversing that arm. And then swapping sides and going the opposite way with your right arm. And then just let your shoulders wiggle around, loosen your arms. Okay, this next one, you might need your strap. In fact, yeah, we'll do a strap one first. So if you'd like to take your hand, grab it again, how you did earlier. And then what I want you to do is take your right arm up and over and down. So your hand is going down your spine, okay? And then your back hand, I want you just to straighten. So you're pulling back on your right tricep, okay? Again, don't flare your chest out. And we'll just take a few breaths here. And then without releasing the strap, try and swap your arms over. So your left arm is going down your back and your right hand is behind and pulling backwards to stretch your left tricep. Engage your core, tailbone down. When I say tailbone down, I don't mean force it down. I mean just rather than letting it bow out like this, sticking your bottom out, I just want you to let it drop so that you've got a little bit of space in the bottom of your spine. Just protects your back. And also in this one, it means that we're not using our torso to make a shape, because we don't need to do that. We're just, if we do that, then we're taking the focus away from the stretch that we want, which is in that tricep. Okay, and bringing your arms up, down to the front and release. Okay. So now if you'd like to clasp your hands behind you, okay, and if possible, bringing your palms together, okay. And then I want you just to pull those hands backwards towards the wall behind you. Squeezing those hands together, pulling those hands back. Again, engaging your core. And gently release and change the intercrossing of your fingers into the way that's not natural. And then pulling your palms as close together as you can, then pull your arms back. If your palms aren't together, that doesn't matter. But as long as you're trying to draw them together, you know, it might be that you don't have the space to do that, so your hands might be a bit further apart. But that's fine, that will come with time. So pulling those arms up and back. And on the next exhale, just release and give them a bit of a shake. Okay, if you want to grab your chair or face your wall, so placing your hands on the top of the chair, again, No closer than shoulder width apart, but you might find, depending on your shoulders, that you need them a little bit wider. Okay, so we're stepping back so that our hips are directly over our ankles, and we're stretching forward, with our palms resting on that chair. And then I want you to breathe in, bringing your head up, looking forward. And as you exhale, just let your head slowly drop between your arms, and just let your chest drop towards the floor. Let your head hang. Inhale up, and exhale, release. Now it's quite a strong stretch, this. So if you're feeling it too much in your shoulders, then just bring yourself up a little bit, back off. Stretching back, so you're really opening up your armpits. Another inhale in, and exhale down. Make sure your legs are engaged. Your thighs coming up towards your groins. Engage your belly, your belly button towards your spine. And pushing back through your arms, your shoulders, to your sit bones. Just another few breaths here. Make sure there's no tension in your neck. And then slowly bringing yourself forward and release your arms. And I'm sorry, I forgot about you doing it next to the wall. So it's basically the same, except obviously your palms are up the wall. Okay. So you can get rid of your chair now. Okay, so let's do a few sun salutations. Get ourselves properly warmed up. Have your blocks handy and your strap, just in case. So taking up mountain pose towards the front of the mat, feet hip width apart, outside edges of your feet parallel with the outside edge of your mat. Just let your tailbone drop down, engage your thighs. I want your knees to be slightly soft. I don't want you to be jamming your knees back. Your shoulders back and down your back. Grow tall. Imagine that piece of string coming out of the crown of your head up to the sky, pulling you up. And your arms, palms facing forward. And just take a few breaths here, just finding that stillness, moving around a little bit, feeling your feet on the ground. So as you inhale, arms up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, and exhale, fold. Inhale, soft knees all the way up with a slight back bend, and exhale to mountain. Take a breath. Check your alignment. Inhale, arms up. Looking up, slight back bend, and forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding again. And inhale all the way up, arms up to the sky, slight back bend, looking up between your hands. And exhale to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, slight back bend. And exhale to mountain. One more time. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, slight back bend, looking up through your hands. And exhale to your mountain pose. Take a few breaths here, find stillness. Check your alignment. Spread your toes. Inhale, arms up, looking up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands and send your legs back into a plank pose. So we're going to take 2 breaths here. Make sure that your fingers and thumbs are spread. Engage your arms. The upper arm is going outwards so that the eye of your elbow is pointing forwards, pushing up through your shoulders. And then as you exhale, I want you to go to your knees, chest, chin, flatten your feet, bottom back, coming down onto your elbows and coming forward between your hands onto your chin and your chest, sliding your legs back, and inhale into a cobra and exhale to down dog. And we'll take 3 breaths. Inhale, right leg up. And as you exhale, bring it forward and turn out your back foot, coming up, bending your front knee and coming up into warrior 1. Take a breath here as you just find that warrior. And exhale, hands down into plank. And through another vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, half yogi push-up or full yogi push-up. And we meet in down dog. Inhale, left leg up. And exhale, bring it forward, turning out the back foot into warrior 1 on the other side. And exhale, hands down into plank. Take an inhale. Exhale through a vinyasa. Inhaling into your cobra. And exhale, down dog. Take a couple of breaths. Do a little bit of paddling with your feet. Move your bottom from side to side. Give yourself a little side stretch. Just stretching those heels down towards the mat. And then I want you to inhale up onto your toes, bending your knees, looking forward, and then step forward to the front of the mat, exhaling as you fold over your legs. Inhale halfway up and exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, slight back bend, and exhale to mountain pose. Right, take a breath. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, fold. Inhale halfway up, and exhale into plank. Go through a vinyasa, and we'll meet in down dog. From down dog, lifting up your right leg into a 3-legged dog and holding that up, push back with your hands to really stretch that leg up. And then as you exhale, bring it forward, turning out the back foot and up into a low lunge. A high lunge. A warrior 1, we'll get there. Exhale, hands down, plank and through a vinyasa. Inhale, left leg up into a 3-legged dog. Take another breath here, pushing back, back, back with your arms, lifting that leg up. And then on your next exhale, bring that leg forward, turning out your back foot into a warrior one on the other side. Taking a breath, and then exhale, hands down, plank, vinyasa. Meet in down dog. And we'll take a few breaths here. Then on your next exhale, walking your feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale halfway up and exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, looking up through the hands, slight back bend, and exhale to mountain pose. Just take a few breaths. Okay, on your next inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway up. And exhale, plant hands and into plank. Take a breath here. And then as you exhale, knees, chest, chin, or yogi push-up. Little cobra and down dog. Inhale your right leg up and really push back with your hands, bringing that leg up as high as you can. You'll probably feel a stretch maybe in the back of your left leg. And then as you exhale, bring that forward, turning out your back foot into warrior one. Take a breath here. And then as you exhale, just sink a little bit more. Inhale. Exhale, hands down, plank, and go through a vinyasa. And we meet in down dog. So bringing up your left leg into a three-legged dog, pushing back with your hands, really lifting that leg. So it's a very active stretch. Then on your next exhale, bringing that leg forward, turning out your back foot and into your warrior one. Let that sink down as you exhale. And then on your next exhale, hands down, plank vinyasa, and we'll meet again in downward facing dog. So either move about here, however feels good, or just stay in stillness. And as you next exhale, taking your feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale halfway up, exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, and then back to mountain, and just take a breath here. As you inhale, bringing your arms forward, sit down in your chair. I don't mean your real chair, I mean your pose chair. Exhale, hands down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, plant hands and into plank. Take a breath, check your alignment, spreading out those fingers. Power up from the hands through the shoulders, up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, going through a vinyasa, through a cobra, and into your down dog. Okay, as you inhale, taking your right leg up, this time keeping your feet parallel, don't turn out your back foot. I want you to bring your right leg forward, drop your back knee, keep your back toes on the floor into a low lunge, bringing your arms up. And then I want you to grab your bricks, have them next to you. And as you exhale, straighten your front leg and peel, if you can, peel that front foot off the mat and stretch your body forward. So you're inhaling to your low lunge position, letting your hips sink, stretching the front of your left leg across the front of your hip, your psoas, and then exhaling, straightening that front leg and stretching the back of that front leg. Keep that thigh engaged. And then inhaling back up and exhaling to your half splits. Looking up, chest forwards. Inhaling up and exhaling back to your half splits. Right, stay here, stretching forward. And then on your next exhale, just drop your head and just sink down to wherever's comfortable, using those blocks to give you whatever support that you need. Keep that right leg engaged. And pull back your right hip to try and keep your pelvis square. And then coming forward again, bending your right leg, plant your hands and step back into a downward facing dog. And then lifting up your left leg really high and then bringing it forward, dropping your back knee, toes still on the ground, into a low lunge on the other side. Arms up. Just let yourself sink. And then taking your blocks, we're going to do that little flow again between low lunge and half Hanuman. So exhaling, bringing your bottom back, toes off, foot off the ground if that's comfortable, looking forward and stretching your spine forward, engaging that left thigh. And inhale back up to your low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. And then this time, as you exhale into your half split, stretching your back forward with your head looking forward. And then just slowly and gently drop your head. And using your blocks to regulate how much weight you're putting through your body onto the floor. Keep that left thigh engaged. Just imagine that you're just pulling that left hip back. And then bending that front leg again. And planting your hands on the floor, coming back into a downward facing dog. We'll take a few breaths. And then on your next exhale, coming forward into a forward fold. Inhale halfway up and exhale fold. Inhale, bringing your arms up and forward, sitting into your chair. And exhale to mountain. Just take a few breaths here. Okay, if you'd like to just take a seated position on the mat with your legs in front of you. And you'll need 1 or 2 blocks. So we're going to put the one block across the back of our shoulders, either on the low setting or the medium setting. And then the other one we're going to have behind to rest our head on, okay? So the brick needs to go across those shoulder blades. And you can have this brick at the same height for your head, or you can have it down on its lowest setting. Or if you want to, if that's all right for you, you can just take it away and let your head rest on the floor, which is obviously a lot stronger, but you need to protect your neck. Okay. So you can either have your arms out to the side, really letting your chest open. Or if it's comfortable for your shoulders, have your shoulders overhead if you want to make it a bit more of a shoulder opener. And every time you breathe out, just make sure you're relaxing through your back. If your lower back's pinching at all, then bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor, and just bring your knees together if that helps. Relax your back, relax your glutes. And then bringing your arms back to your sides if they're above your head, just rolling very carefully off those bricks. I don't want you to bring your knees into your chest at the moment. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is you'll probably just need 1 block. Lying on your back with your feet hip width apart, flat on the mat, just lifting up your bottom and putting the brick on its lowest setting just underneath your sacrum, the bony bit at the bottom of your back. And then there are options to increase this. Just something to bear in mind, I don't want your knees splaying out, I want your knees to stay parallel. So if you want to lift your bottom up, if you want to increase this, and just turn your brick onto its medium height. And then the option, if you want to increase this more, is coming up onto your toes and onto your triceps and popping the block on its long edge. And whichever position you're in, just relax your back down onto the support of the floor and the brick. And if you want even more height, you can add another brick. Ooh. Okay, so onto your toes. Take the bricks down, the setting, and just bring your sacrum back down onto that. Just for a couple of breaths. And then lifting up again onto your toes, remove those bricks and slowly bring your back onto the floor. And your feet apart so that your feet are on the outer edge of the mat. And then I just want you to windscreen wipe your knees to the right and to the left, just to release your back. Just keep going. Okay, so if you want to roll over to one side and bring yourself up into a seated position. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a series of poses that you can come back to. Not too often, at the most once a week. It depends on how much yoga you're doing. Once a month, maybe even more. And photograph yourself doing them so that you can monitor how you're getting on. So let me bring my thing up that I'm using. So I'm going to show you the ones that I'm using at the moment, and then over time I'll probably show you some others. So the first one is a pigeon pose, and that's the one where we have our one leg to the front and one leg behind, with the front leg across the mat, with the front knee bent. Okay, so have handy your bricks, your strap, and maybe if you've got sensitive knees, you might need to have a blanket across your mat as well for some of these. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is just get into a low lunge. Okay, this will get your back leg shooting straight out behind you. Okay, and then if you come down onto your hands and walk that right foot across, and just place that leg across the mat. Now, the further forward you have it, the stronger this will be. The most forward you should have it is parallel with the front of the mat. Okay, don't have it any further forward than that. You'll probably have to start further back. Okay, so what you need to do here is make sure that this back leg is going straight out behind you. Okay, now you might need to put your hands onto some bricks. These are all different options to try and help you to get into. What we're trying to do is get into a position that you can measure. So a lot of these are on the floor because obviously the floor is not mobile. Standing poses, it's a little bit more difficult to measure. Okay, now what another modification that you might need for this is to pop a brick or a block underneath your right buttock. Okay, and then for people that are going really well, if you take your strap, take it behind your left foot. Just get back into position. And what we're doing here, make sure again that the leg is going straight back and you're taking those over your head and pulling up. And that's going to give some extra stretch to the front of your left hip. Okay. So let me just come back for you. Okay. So this pigeon pose, if this is absolutely impossible for you, don't worry, just stay in low lunge. okay? And you can try, and what you need to try and do is every time you film or photograph this, is do it from the same angle. So otherwise it's very difficult to compare, okay? So if you'd like to just come out of whatever position you're in, and then you need to do the same for the other side, you'll probably find that you'll modify differently because most of us are not equal. So first of all, getting into a low lunge with your right knee down, just to try and get that leg so it's going out straight behind you, okay? And then you can come down onto your blocks or onto the floor and bending that left leg across the mat. Now I have to modify quite a lot for this one because of my knee replacement. So I'm actually putting a block under my left hip and under my left knee at the moment, because it's really important that I don't twist that. Again, if this is too much, stay in low lunge. So this is what they call an external hip rotation. Okay, so if you want to come out of that. So that's your options for the pigeon pose. The next one is the splits or half splits. So we've already warmed up for this. So again, if you come into your low lunge, grab your bricks, low lunge, toes on the floor, knee on the floor, and then pushing back with the right heel, straightening that front leg, okay? So that's your first option, foot flat, or if you can, peeling it off the mat. If you want to take this a bit further, then you're going to slide your heel forwards, use your toes to slide the back knee back, and using the blocks to support yourself. So try and make sure that your back leg is again shooting straight out behind you. And then to come out, bringing that front foot towards you. And then into tabletop. And then bringing the left leg forward into low lunge on the other side. So pulling your bottom back, straightening your front leg into half splits, peeling the foot off the floor if that's good for you. And then if you want to take it further, slide that heel forwards, the back knee back a bit. And again, using the blocks to regulate the amount of weight that you're putting through there. Just give you a bit of confidence so you know you're not overdoing it. Again, so then you'd photograph yourself in that position. Okay, so bringing that foot back and just popping your blocks to one side. Sorry, I'm forgetting what I'm doing next all the time. Right, so the next one is the straddle sit, okay? So we're sitting along the long edge of the mat and your feet apart to wherever's comfortable. If your back is bent, then I want you to give yourself some height, okay? So sit on a brick or a block or some books until you can get a nice straight back as you come upright out of that pelvis, okay? If your back's straight, then you can start to walk forwards. Keep your feet pointing up towards the ceiling, looking forwards and keeping your back straight, okay? You might want to just grab your bottom flesh and pull it out behind you. And very slowly and gradually coming down, maybe onto your elbows. Keep looking up. And if you can come down a bit further, please do. So when you record this one, you need to make sure that you also make a note of what height you're sitting on, if you're sitting on a height, because obviously that's going to, you know, when you get rid of that height under your bottom because your back's straighter, then you need to be able to know that that was there before. Because if you photograph it in front, you might not notice, be able to see it. Okay, so that's the seated straddle. Okay, the next one is seal. So if you come round onto your front and your feet are apart and flat on the floor, your elbows are on the floor with your hands pointing outwards a little bit. So you are literally like a seal, okay? And you've got your head up, it's looking forward, and you're pushing up through those elbows, okay? So that's the starting position. If you're wanting it a bit stronger, then you come up onto straight arms. But I want you to keep the front of your hips on the ground. Now, if you've got really strong, powerful thighs, they might not physically touch the ground. But yeah, the idea is that you're keeping the weight of the hips into the ground and you're pushing back, shoulders down, and just bringing a back bend into there. So again, because of the floor, you can't cheat on this. So it's a good one to use to photograph, to measure progress. The next move on from that, I don't think I probably need to give you that at the moment. We'll come back to that another day. Okay, the next one is the wheel or the bridge. Okay, so we'll start off with a bridge, a low bridge. So if you want to come onto your back and plant your feet, the first option with your palms facing down, shoulders on the floor, is just to push up. Don't let your knees splay out and just really push up. So that's the first level. If you can do a little bit more, I forgot to say at the beginning, you need to make sure you can tickle the backs of your heels with your hands, if you can, okay, before you go up into this. Right, so the next one is the full bridge. So in this one, you're bringing your hips up, you're clasping your hands with your palms together behind you, and you come up onto your triceps, pulling your arms back, pushing with your feet, really pushing. And then the next level is wheel, which isn't in my practice, so I'm not going to demonstrate that to you, but if that is something that you're familiar with, then please go ahead and do that. So again, with that measurement of your fingers on your heels and the fact that the floor's immovable, you're getting a good idea on your progress. And the next one is the hamstring stretch, which we've done before. So you may need a strap, lying on your back, shoulders on the floor, and putting the strap over your right foot. Now I want your shoulders on the floor, okay? So I don't want you sort of up like this, bending forwards. I want you right back, shoulders on the floor, engaging that leg. Inhaling, stretch, exhale, bring it more towards you, okay? So that's another photograph to take. And the same on the other side. You might find it easier to film it and then just take stills from that, unless you've got somebody who can help with the photographs. So try and have your legs as straight as possible, because again, otherwise it's difficult to measure, because if you have your legs slightly bent one time and then not another, then it's difficult to see what progress you've made. So, you know, even if your leg's up here, that's fine. Just make sure it's straight. Okay. And then I want to do one more, which is camel. And I'm not sure I've done camel pose with you. I'm pretty sure I haven't. So I'll go through this. So if you'd like to come up onto your knees, put some padding down if your knees are sensitive. Okay. And we'll start off with your toes on the floor. So you've got your heels bent and you're up on your knees. Okay. And what I want you to do is roll your shoulders back, putting your hands on your lower back and lifting up, your chest up. In fact, if you bring your hands to the bottom of your rib cage, imagine that you're tilting your ribs up. So your fingers are in the front of the bottom of your rib cage and your thumbs are behind, and you're just literally tilting. So the shoulders go back and you're pushing forward a bit with your pelvis to try and keep this part, the lower part of your body, at 90 degrees to the floor. So that's the first level. And then the next one is just popping your fingers onto the back of your heels. And then if that's easy, then you can flatten your feet. Keep pushing that pelvis forward, chest up. And as you come out, put your hands onto your back, coming up slowly and into a child's pose. Knees apart, toes, big toes together, stretching your arms forward, and just let your chest sink down between your legs. And then when you're ready, just bringing yourself up and lie down for the final relaxation. Letting the feet drop outwards, palms up, shoulders on the floor. Just give yourself a quick body scan just to check there's no tension anywhere. Paying particular attention today to your back, your shoulders, and your jaw and your face. Rest your mind on your breathing. Sink. Then if you want to just wiggle your fingers and toes, give yourself a little stretch. Coming over onto your right hand side, using your arm as a pillow. Take a moment. And then keeping your eyes closed, coming up into a comfortable seated position. You can turn your volumes on now.